All righty, welcome to a Sunday. This is a beautiful day. Let me move this out of the way. We are looking at weather that has been really nice this weekend. It's not warm, it's not hot. And when we get to the weather in a few seconds or minutes, we're going to see how this pattern is going to stay with us for a while. So we're not going to, I don't think we're going to see 90s or 100s for at least a week, maybe a couple weeks, which is reasonable. I mean, it's not that time of year really. Here we are. I'm talking about Mount Shasta. I'm talking about it because I always say it's near and dear to my heart. It's probably near and dear to your heart too. I mean, I think anybody who drives up 505, goes through Reading, Dunsmuir, and that thing opens up. I grew up there, and I'm telling you, you never get tired of it. It's like the Golden Gate Bridge. You just see it and you just go, oh my God, is that for real? And a lot of the reason is the mountain above that plane you see there. That plane's already at 4,000 feet or so. And the mountain goes another 10,000 feet vertically. So you're basically at that surface looking up. The mountain's over 14,000 feet high. But when you're standing there, you're looking at 10,000 feet of volcano. It's awesome. And that's why you get these. I think Shasta's known a lot for its lenticular clouds. It really is. It's known for lots of things: spiritualism, chakras. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about weather components. We'll talk about runoff. It's just a thing. It's a thing that you cannot deny. And it's funny. Not funny, but it's interesting because I think you forget it's there. Like I always forget it's there. Like I'm going up to Oregon or Seattle and I don't forget, but I forget how monumental it is. It last erupted in, let me see, I think I've got it down here. It last erupted in 1786, over 14,000 feet, 7 active glaciers. That's hard to do. One of the things we've noticed with climate change is that we're losing glaciers, right? We used to have glaciers up in Lake Tahoe, not a few 100 years ago, 100 years ago, even more recent than that. Glacier essentially is something that stays frozen in a zone, in a chute, usually often on the north side of these mountains like Mount Shasta. And it stays, it's a glacier. It's moving, it goes back, but it doesn't go away, right? So these glaciers, the north side of Shasta has a number of glaciers, 7 active glaciers total. It was first climbed in, I got it here, it was first climbed in 1786. No, that's last eruption was 1786. I don't know when it was first climbed. I had it here. It was climbed in the 1880s, I guess. So that's, and the name is for the Shastan Indian tribe. The Indians surrounded this mountain, obviously very spiritual to them as well. So the mountain's got a lot going on for it. The town of Mount Shasta is a whole nother deal. It's another animal. It's Berkeley meets Marin meets Orange County. I mean, it's because of its spiritual component, which is massive. And even if you're not spiritual, I kind of am, but if you're not, you're still going to see that mountain and just go, right? Oh, right. It just does that to you. And so it draws people from all over. And because it is one of the main chakra points of the world, supposedly, I don't know. And chakra is an energy that comes from like 7 points of 7 chakra energies in your body or something. And I didn't do a deep dive into it, other than what strikes me is that it's among the pyramids and Stonehenge in terms of chakra-ness, like in terms of boom, this is some chakra stuff. So we'll get to that in a little bit. This is the reason we get lenticular clouds up there. And you can kind of see that the air comes in off the coastal hills, hits that 10,000 foot rise, goes up. Air cools, about 3 degrees per 1,000 feet as you go up. That's just a general rule. That's called the environmental lapse rate. So as air goes up, it's going up 10,000 feet. So, almost 10, maybe going up 6,000 feet. But 6,000 feet rise, that's 18 degrees. You've dropped 18 degrees. So if you come over the hill at 40, in other words, it's not going to be hard to get to the dew point temperature as you go up. And that's what happens. It goes up, it pushes the moisture air up from the coast, gets it up there on the top of the mountain. It turns into a cloud, but then the air sinks down the backside, which is sinking air. And sinking air dries. It warms 5 degrees per 1,000 feet. So it dries out pretty quick. So and this is what happens. This cycle goes on and on. So when it's windy, you can get probably, in my mind, the best lenticular clouds ever on Mount Shasta, and it's because of its proximity. I mean, there probably are other places in the world, but I haven't been there and I haven't seen it. I mean, Shasta's the one probably most photographed because it's where it sits. And the lenticular clouds, there's all sorts of legends around them. It's like, well, spaceships hide in there, and because they look like spaceships, I guess. But I'm thinking if there's aliens, they're not. I mean, this is thermodynamics and atmospherics and physics. This isn't I mean, they may hide in them. I don't know. Aliens, I don't know, but I don't know. I just don't think. I don't know. I just don't think they're making clouds to hide in. But again, I could be wrong. So another shot of Mount Shasta, which is stunning. Lenticular clouds are abundant on this mountain. And this one's interesting because it looks like it formed over the mountain and kind of drifted off. Maybe as the afternoon went on, the winds died down, it just sort of stayed condensed and drifted off. But this shot sort of sets you up with the whole, oh yeah, it looks like a spaceship. It doesn't to me, but it looks like a spaceship. So, that whole, it's even when I was a little kid in the 60s and 70s, we people were always talking about aliens and spaceships and Lumerians. I mean, it was like, and I was kind of like, oh really? It was just part of it was like Bigfoot. We were kind of all in on that stuff. A little story on Mount Shasta. I got married. I got engaged up there to my wife. We got up early one morning. We stayed a few days up there to acclimate. We went climb it to the top in 1992 or 91. No, not many people climbed back then. I mean, maybe 6 people were in front of us. And now I know it's a deal. Like people go and you have to get permits. I don't even think we permitted back then. But anyway, so we went up and it's a difficult climb. But if you got any game at all, just train up for a couple of weeks, every couple of months, you can figure it out. You just got to have a good set of lungs on you, and you're walking all day. But anyway, we get up there and the storm comes in. I'm getting ready to propose. I can't because we're fleeing for our lives. So I'm like, God dang it. Because I kind of envision this like, oh, that's going to be right? We all do when you're young. You envision this moment. So we had to, and I'm like, and then it goes from, oh, I'm going to change my life by getting married, engaged. And now I'm fleeing, and because I could kill the person, we could both die, or she could die, and then that looks even worse. So so I'm like, I gotta get out of here. So we go down from Red Banks, icy. It was really bad. I had a couple of nasty rock falls behind us, and then I got down and asked her to marry me, and she said, yeah, and we're still married. It's pretty awesome. So anyway, that's a little sidebar story. I got the root chakra thing. I think that bleeds into the Lemurians, which is, if you live in that area, you know darn well who the Lemurians are. You can Google this stuff. And when I was a kid growing up, we heard all about it. Lots of UFO sightings, lots of kind of Bigfoot reptilians, which are like an alien. They're like reptilians, reptiles, I guess. So, and I'm not all hip on all that, so I don't really know, but I think some of this has to do with just this general awe energy that surrounds this incredible spiritual place. And again, like I said, Stonehenge and the pyramids are two of the other ones. There's, Stonehenge and the pyramids, that's enough, right? It's like they lump it in for root chakra with that. So if you're a root chakra dude or dudette or whatever, you're freaking know all about Mount Shasta. There's 2 other places though that I've never heard of: Allura for chakra, and Mount Calif for chakra, which is pretty cool. So I get I kind of get the root chakra thing, in that I think there is an energy that flows. So this is not that long ago. I was up in, this is Fall River, beautiful spring river that has awesome trout in it. It's beautiful. It's kind of on the east side of the Cascade Range. So you're looking back, kind of like from, if you were at Klamath Falls for the north, but you're sort of in there and you can see Mount Shasta to the north, which I think that shot's pretty awesome. And then I shot this just because whenever I get stressed, this was like a couple of weeks ago. I was up on the river fishing, and I love that sound. We spent hours in there. This is the McCloud River, which comes off of Mount Shasta. Lots of bears, lots of fish. It's really pretty. It's pretty remote. It's pretty awesome. But I love this video. I was going to say one more thing about. No, I guess I wasn't. So anyway, that's Mount Shasta. It's definitely. Oh, I was going to say that this river. Look how clear the water is. And what's cool is what I do. I make beer. So one of my moves is to go to places like this and take this water, which there's some energy in it. There's some, right? Glacial melt off this mountain, spiritual place, super clean, and I make beer out of it, which is sort of anti-chakra, but I mean, not anti-chakra, it's just not really chakra-y, but the beer's awesome. It's awesome there. So that's my deal on Mount Shasta. I bet you've been. If you haven't been lately, go back again because it is awesome. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so here's Mount Shasta right here. You can see, you can pick it out. And one of the things you might pick out too is, so the Mount Shasta is that white blob, but what you might be able to pick out is this area downstream. Those could easily be lenticular clouds in a wave as they formed. I don't know that. I could probably pull up some live cameras and find it somewhere, but that type of pattern, this is the type of pattern that would most certainly get you lenticulars. And you can see there's a gap. See, I'm going to talk about the air sinking. See how there's a gap? I don't know if you can see that. There's a gap between these. Let me see if I can do this. There's a gap. See, there's that little gap between those two clouds. And then there's another kind of gaps there. That's sinking air. And then the air, it undulates. It hits the ground, bounces up and goes down. So that's easily what that could be. Or I just